Hello, everyone, and welcome in to a brand new Thursday afternoon Snaps. I hope you're having a wonderful day, a warm cup of Joe in my hand. It's a nice 60 degrees outside, and we have an excellent Thursday night football game on deck tonight. Life is good as we sit here mid-September. Aaron Murray, how are you feeling, QB1? Feeling pretty good, dude, after that Peloton workout today? You and your wife tied up, bro. How is she doing that 30 weeks pregnant? I don't get it. She's an animal.
30. She literally woke up this morning. She looked at me and said, I'm going to beat your ass on the Peloton run today. I was like, okay, let's go. You, me. Let's
relax.
Do the damn thing.
I have to go take a piss. I just woke up.
I know. I loved it, though. Trust me. Juices were flowing. Yeah, she went first. So I advantaged me because I got to kind of see her score. So she kicked ass, and then she got like 504, and I went on there, and I was dying. So I don't know. I tweeted this out. Like, I don't know what's more impressive, the fact that she's 30 weeks pregnant and put an output score of 504, or that I'm not pregnant, a former athlete, and I tied her on the same race. So, and I went second. No. So like there was,
for the record, it's obviously the former. It's obviously the former.
Yes, I agree. It's definitely the 30 weeks pregnant thing. I don't know how I know the bike scores work, but like I mean, like percentage wise, she's probably still in what, like the top 2% or something in that. It's definitely the 30 weeks.
She was up there. Yeah,
animal, absolute animal.
It's
I'm out here.
Beast mode.
I'm out here running, and I do like the Cocho shuffle. Like I'm doing like 12-minute miles and my heart's just beating out of my chest, but it's okay, man. We're learning. Okay. Welcome into Snaps though. We're going to get to a little Nick Saban rant today, and then we're going to give you our top 5 best games of the weekend. And remember, you want to subscribe to Snaps because tomorrow we give you our best bets. Saturday, we got a little Snaps After Dark, which should be extra interesting. I'm going to go tailgating this Saturday, Aaron. 2011 LSU team being honored, little LSU versus Mississippi State. Your boy's going to be a guest captain, going to see the fellas Friday night, Saturday night, beers constantly throughout. It's going to be fan-snaptic. And, I'm very excited for it. I had something else that I wanted to say, but it doesn't matter now. Also check out Colin Cowherd Sit Down with Joe Burrow. Pretty freaking awesome. All right, dude, let's dive in. Alabama, following their nail biter against Texas. I can't remember who they play this week. They play a bad team this week, right? And that was kind of the premise of this reporter's question to Nick Saban. And, well, it may still be early on, but Saban stays in midseason form.
How hard is it to gauge offensive growth when the quality of opponent can vary? Utah State, Texas, now ULM this week.
Well, that's your opinion on quality of opponent, all right? It's not mine. I respect all the people that we play, and I respect winning and what you have to do to win, all right? So, and every player should not be focused on who they're playing against relative to their motivation, but every player should want to be the best player they can be. So why would it matter whether we're playing Texas or playing somebody else? That's how you get good. That's how you develop the right habits. That's how you're consistent. I've told you guys more than once, when I was in the NFL, I watched players, I didn't know who they were playing against. I was just evaluating them. So that means when we play a team that's not as good as somebody else, you don't play as good. So you let the opponent determine how you play. You let the score determine how you play. You determine where you're playing. All right, that determines how you play. So when you get evaluated, what's somebody think? Oh, this guy plays pretty good at home. I don't think we'll draft him. Does that make sense? So I respect what it takes to win. Didn't I say this on Monday? What does what's your favorite in a game mean when you're favored by 20 points and you lose? Like two teams did this week. Ooh. What does it mean? It means the people favoring you either don't know what you're talking about or the players playing got affected by that.
Absolutely. Love it, dude. Oh my God, dude. Nick Saban.
It's like mom or dad just scolding you. I mean, that's what the reporter had to feel like. Like everyone, it's like that awkwardness, or like if you're in class, you did something wrong, you feel like everyone's just looking at you like, damn, you really asked that question to Nick Saban. And everyone's probably like, uh-oh. And you're just sweating and scared crapless. And I mean, he just don't ask him questions like that. Have we not learned? Don't ask Nick Saban questions like that. Or actually do. Please do. I applaud the whoever asked that question because it gives for good content. So I do appreciate it. But he had to be feeling like straight doo-doo afterwards.
Anytime Saban hits you, it's a Saban classic. Anytime you start with, that's your opinion, it's about to pop off. Like, you're about to get roasted. And like you said, Aaron, do ask that question because similar to a parent yelling at a child, right? When it's you getting yelled at, it sucks. When it's your brother or sister, you're kind of like, dumbass, what were you thinking, dude? You deserve this. So yeah, it's fun to kind of look and laugh from afar. But let's actually dive in to what Saban is talking about here, because Nick Saban has that Michael Jordan thing, right? That a lot of these insane competitors have, where you can give him anything. He will find anything to be motivated with. Like, it doesn't even have to be a legitimate slight. And he's always trying to hammer home that same sort of motivation to his players. So when Nick Saban heard that Notre Dame lost to Marshall and Texas A&M lost to App State, that was like Christmas come early for this man. You might as well have just gift wrapped him his two biggest things on Santa's list, because it's the perfect ammunition for him. He now gets to hammer his team. You can't talk ULM lightly. He can talk about when he lost to ULM back in the day, and he's constantly hammering this message of protection, the standard, or perfection. The standard is the standard. And even the NFL scouting line is excellent, right? Because he's saying, look, you all want to make the NFL. When I was in the NFL, I didn't care who you were playing. I just cared how you played. So you must play good and perfect at all times. Nick Saban should be sending Jimbo and Marcus Freeman thank you letters in the mail.
Yes. And just, they are playing UL Monroe this weekend, actually, too. And they're
the Warhawks, baby.
49.5-point favorites. But I think also, I mean, there's a few things that he was gifted this past weekend. One, you alluded to, the two major upsets in college football. Like, I think every coach in America is going to continue to use those examples of, hey, why must we have a good week of practice? I mean, even you heard, Kirby last week at Georgia, hey man, we didn't have a good week of practice. The players after the game said, yeah, man, we won 33-0. We're great. We're happy about that. But we didn't play as well as we wanted to. And a lot of it had to do because we did not have a great week of practice. So that's the message very coach is it doesn't matter who it is. It's a faceless opponent. You practice hard from Monday through Friday. You get ready to go physically and mentally come Saturday, and you go out there and worry about yourself. If you execute, it doesn't matter who the opponent is when you're Alabama and Georgia because you got so many damn good players. If you do what you're capable of doing, you're going to win and you're going to win big. So that's one gift. And the second gift, obviously, which we've harped on this week in the show, is the penalties. And the 15 plus penalties they committed the most in the Saban era. That is a lot of ammunition to give Saban. And I guarantee you there have been a lot of talks. And it's funny because Saban has been somewhat warmer these past few years. I think we've all seen it and we've all been like, okay, Nick Saban's, not that.
He's a granddad. He said it himself.
Yeah. He's calmed down a little bit. I guarantee you though, old Nick Saban was in the building this week. That no BS 2010 to 15 Nick Saban was in the house raising hell, putting up clips of those other games, putting up clips of the penalties committed Alabama last week and said, boys, don't make me go back to old school Nick Saban because I will whip some ass. And, that's some scary stuff right there.
Speaking of old school Nick Saban, Aaron, his first year at Alabama, they lost to the ULM Warhawks. And then they turned down an Independence Bowl invite, and I'll never forget, they put up billboards in North Louisiana that said Alabama didn't want to go to the Independence Bowl because they were afraid to drive through Monroe. Excellent troll job there. Now, unfortunately, that was maybe the last time we got to kind of clown Alabama for something like that. But it was fun that week, or it was fun when it lasted. All right, so that's just a little Nick Saban in today's show is a bit like just an excellent starter, right? That was some fried calamari, maybe like a delicious. I love like a tempura green bean, right? A little dipping sauce. Now let's get into the meat of the meal. And that concerns the top 5 college football games on the slate this weekend. Again, be on the lookout for best bets tomorrow. Not going to involve too many of these games. These are the games that we are either most looking forward to or the most competitive or the most attractive from kind of a television standpoint. And we're going to start with a team that here on Snaps we have kind of adopted as a group, and that would be our Papa Collins' favorite team. Of course, we are talking about the USC Trojans, as it's a big one here. Fresno State traveling to the Coliseum to take on USC, and USC right now 12.5-point favorites on FanDuel. Aaron, how are we feeling about the Trojans heading into this one?
Well, I feel good about their offense. We all know they're going to be able to score points all year long. I mean, just the efficiency we've seen through the first 2 weeks of the season, they look like they're in midseason form, which was one of my big concerns. How fast can you get the communication and the timing between quarterback to receivers and running backs? And it looks like those guys on that side of the football have been there for a while. And you brought this up a good point earlier in the week, T-Bob, is when you look at the defense, that's the big question mark. Can the defense keep up with the production on the other side of the football? Are they big enough? Are they strong enough? Are they athletic enough to go against some pretty good offenses? And I do think Fresno State is a good offense. I had an opportunity to cover them a couple times last year. Jay Kaner, I think, is a really good quarterback. I think at times kind of gets into his own way and tries to force the ball down the field, is known to commit turnovers at times. But overall, he's a guy that's played a lot of football. He's played in some big-time moments. He's not afraid to play in big-time moments. I really like him. Jordan Mims at running back is a tremendous running back. Jalen Cropper and Josh Kelly on the outside. This is a really good offense for Fresno State. Probably the best offense in their conference right now between what they have at quarterback, running back, and receiver. So to me, USC wins the game. I don't think there's a question of that. This is now going to be my first take of, is this defense good enough to help this team make it to the playoffs? Is this team good enough defensively to win the Pac-12? Because offense will get them there. Offense will keep them in games versus Utah. Offense will keep them in games versus Oregon. But you can't just have one side of the ball. You got to have that complement on the defensive side. So first test, and if they come out there and they dominate on defense, my love and your love for the Trojans will only go up and up and up and up. But if they give up like 30, 40 points, my view of how far they go this season, I think, goes down significantly.
So that is why. So we had and shout out to everybody hanging out in the chat today. We got Bilbo, we got Michael, we got T, Pat, Mark, Waves on Swim, Mine Not for Rent. Yeah, it's me, Daniel Basham, everybody hanging out here. But Michael Boyce says, why is this one hyped with a bunch of question marks? And I feel you. First off, this is the first week of college football where the slate has kind of taken a little bit of a step back, right? We had a wonderful week 1 and 2. You do have to go digging a bit more for matchups this week. Though those weekends are sometimes one that surprise you. But like that's one reason I think why this game makes the top 5. But also it's because it is all about SC and the fact-finding mission that Aaron just described. If this defense, and to me, covering comes into play here, because I agree with you. I think USC wins.
Yeah.
But if this defense can contain Haener and cover that 12.5 number against a good Fresno State team, who, again, I think, they're going to really struggle to stop SC. They couldn't even stop Oregon State. But if they cover against a good Fresno team, I think, yeah, man, it is full steam ahead on the USC playoff hype train.
Yep.
Because after that, you're
100%.
like, okay, if you contain Haener, you could probably contain any of these other offenses. I still think because of USC's offensive line, it's going to be very hard to stop them. And so, yeah, man, this is my final countdown before I launch myself into hype space when it comes to the Trojans. So I'm like ready to go. I'm locked in. Countdown started. We just need to go through a few final checks here. And it involves beating Fresno by the 12.5 at home. So number 5.
For those who don't watch Fresno, like so my previous employer before I moved to ESPN this year was the Mountain West. So I was lucky enough I would get that, I'd get that B game behind Gary. So I'd get like that 3:30 game on CBS for SEC a few times a year. But primarily I was in the Mountain West. I covered a lot of Mountain West games. I covered a lot of Fresno State games. And when I tell you that those guys on offense are good, they're good. Like they can push the ball vertically down the field. They will challenge USC and their defensive side. So I'm hoping so. You know what I'm also looking forward to? There's been so much hype built around USC. And it's funny when you turn on the tape or you watch a game on Saturday for the past couple of weeks and you've seen them at home week 1, you saw them at Stanford week 2, and you look at the crowd, it's dead. Pac-12 football, it's Pac-12 football. And the fans out there, it's like, do I want to go to the beach? Do I want to go, as we talked about for Stanford, go find a way to make money through stocks and bonds, or do I want to go to a football game? And football kind of runs third. USC's winning. And that rich tradition and the hype and the excitement and Caleb Williams and all that good stuff, like, is Snoop Dogg going to show up? And are the fans going to show up on Saturday? Like, that's what I want to know. When do the fans start showing up and showing their team some damn love?
Yeah, I mean, there will be a slower reaction. As you said, everybody knows the 2 foremost pursuits in California are the beach and stocks and bonds, and then third is football. I think, look, again, I think a big win here would fully launch that hype train that you're looking for, which, I mean, again, to our perspective, Aaron, it's hard to see how it's not launched already. So I get that, but big time test coming up for the Trojans. Let's go, Brett. Nealon, center. I trust in you. You look so good with that gladius in your hand. Right now, let's go to the number 4 most interesting game on the list. And we just can't keep these guys out of our mouths, Aaron. I'm talking about BYU. How about it, dude? BYU going on the road to Eugene, Oregon. BYU scheduled the most interesting schedule in the world this year, and it's fantastic, and I absolutely love it. And this Oregon road trip is just the latest twist. We still have Notre Dame coming up for BYU. Still have Arkansas coming to Provo. Still got East Carolina, who's really good seemingly this year. Boise State. I mean, BYU testing themselves, and that's the big thing to me here, right? And it is one of the few ranked-unranked matchups this week. But if BYU wins this, then all of a sudden they are a legitimate playoff contender, or at least legitimate playoff conversation piece.
100%. No, they definitely are. But I am worried, though, with the start, man. Their start of the season, just travel-wise, it stinks. I mean, you go all the way to Tampa, Florida. Like BYU going to Tampa, I don't really see what you really gain from that besides knowing you're going to win the football game. Then you come back home last week. You play an overtime game versus Baylor, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was a late night game. I mean, the game was, you and I were doing the late night show, for goodness sakes. I felt like at 1 o'clock in the morning, and that game was still on. So a late game after traveling across the country to Tampa, you come back, You wear yourself out versus the Bears. Then you get back on the road and go to Oregon, one of the most, I would say, intimidating places in the Pac-12, if not the most intimidating place to play in the Pac-12. So are the kids going to be up? And lucky for them, it's still early in the season, but that's a lot of travel. That's a lot of grinding, and that's a late night game last week. A lot of moving parts. So, I love their quarterback. I think they are a good team. I agree with you. Like, if they win this week versus Oregon on the road, they need to be considered as a team that we need to think about of putting in the top 10, of considering to what you said, to be in the conversation. And they're going to have more and more opportunities versus good teams like Arkansas in a few weeks to continue to prove that resume out. But, for Oregon, I think Bo Nix needs this game. I mean, if anyone needs this game, Bo Nix needs to go out there and show the country, because there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this game, that he's a legitimate quarterback, that week 1 versus UJ just was a thing of the past, essentially. They had a good pick-me-up game last week. They went out there and dominated, I think it was East Washington. So me personally, I'm a believer in Bo. I'm a believer in Oregon and their coaching staff. I think they win this football game. I do. I think Bo has one of those moments where he's had in the past where he has a, high, I'm not going to say Heisman-like moments because he's not going to win the Heisman, but those type of plays, those electric plays in the pocket with his legs, where he's just that much more athletic than the defense, is super creative, is able to make a play down the field with his arm afterwards. So look for Bo to have one of those special nights, and I think Oregon pulls out a great win for their program.
Okay, Aaron Murray, noted believer in the power of Nix. We'll see. I do agree. Like we said after Georgia, I was not going to sit there and overly judge Oregon for looking awful. I don't think many people are going to look good against Georgia at all this year. I want to say they beat like Eastern Washington like 70-7 or something right after that, right?
70-14.
So a great game, not just to get your legs back, but to work on you, to take out some anger, to let Bo Nix get some confidence. So yeah, look, I feel almost guilty. Like, I don't know why. Maybe it's because BYU has 2 really nice wins. When they beat Baylor at home, and then who else did BYU? Oh, they beat South Florida, handled it like 51-21, week 1. And so it's like I know that BYU is a more proven team, and I should maybe throw my lot in with them, but Eugene's a very tough place to play. I still think that Oregon's really good on the lines of scrimmage, and I think Bo Nix will be better. I'm with you, Aaron. I think the Ducks win here, and I think it kind of stabilizes some of their anger after the Georgia game. Says, okay, we can still be good, and I think it starts to make the Pac-12 a little more exciting. That conference, every big win that it can get, it kind of needs right now to hype up a little Oregon, USC, and everybody else a bit later in the year. Eugene's tough to play in, like I said. Let's see if chat. Anything else on BYU Oregon before we move on to number 3, Aaron?
No, I think you made a good point about the Pac-12. I think for us to continue to hype up USC, I think Pac-12 teams have to start winning around them, because it goes to the conversation I think we had the other day of, if you say there's a 1-loss Clemson and a 1-loss USC, who you putting in? And then the conversation becomes, well, what conference is better? Is the Pac-12 better? Is the ACC better? So I think if there is going to be a chance for USC to make it, and obviously if they go undefeated, they're going to be in, but if they do slip up at some point, the more that conference can win games like this in the national spotlight is going to help them. Yeah. Or say if Utah runs the table and is 12-1 at the end of the day and wins the Pac-12, like, these are the games the Pac-12 needs to win to continue to build the resume to possibly get someone in the playoffs this year.
Look, Washington State did their job, okay?
Yep.
Now it's up to Washington this weekend playing host to Michigan State. It's up to Oregon playing host to BYU. We're going to learn a little bit about the Pac-12 this weekend. Aaron, I want to learn something about you. Daniel Basham says, do you prefer the tentacles or the tubes when eating fried calamari? Do you eat calamari ever?
I love calamari. I love both. Can I say that? I would go after the tentacles. No,
what the hell can
I'll go the tentacles. I'm going to go after the tentacles. Yeah.
What?
Just they fascinate
I mean, the
me.
tentacles
I like the
are
texture.
fine, but I feel like the tubes are better. Some of the tentacles are a little freaky.
Well, because they're more fried. That's why you like them better.
Yeah, I mean, hey, okay, hey, relax, Aaron Murray, okay?
Just
Maybe correct,
be honest.
but also it's all the little tiny suckers on the tentacles. It's got a very phallic sort of feel to it. It
It's
just
more
weirds me out a
protein
little
though. I
bit.
feel like I look at them like, okay, this is a little bit somewhat healthier. The tubes are more fried. I'm trying to lose some weight here, bro. The TV puts on
You
10
and
pounds,
Hester,
so I got to
dude.
eat healthier.
You and Hester, I'm just surrounded by these diet boys right now, and it's just like I'm out of here eating like turkey sandwiches. Whatever, dude. The tubes are better, okay? Way less hentai like. Number 3 on the list. Here we go, boys. It's that time. LSU, Mississippi State, Death Valley at night. 2011 LSU team being honored. T-Bob Hebert, one of 4 special guest captains. The team gets so inspired by seeing his beautiful physique and beard and hair and energy on the field that they get the upset victory and defeat the Bulldogs, and the team decide to carry off T-Bob and Will Blackwell and Brandon Taylor and Jordan Jefferson off on their shoulders for inspiring them to a 1-0 SEC victory. Bank it. Easy money.
Wow. I'm hoping and praying this is happening and we get good footage of it. Are you going to flip the coin? Like, are you getting that honor or what?
I'm gonna no.
Please
Will
tell us
Will
everything
is
that
going,
is going to happen for Saturday.
No, we're going out there pregame, whatever. Yeah, doing the coin flip thing. Will Blackwell will be flipping the coin. He was one of these season in captains and offensive MVP on that year's team, All-American. He's got the oil painting.
Gotcha.
So so he will be flipping the coin.
Tragedy.
I don't mind.
Tragedy.
I don't mind.
Right.
No. This is like when I got brought to SEC Media Day. Okay. I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to be one of the guest captains. I think I was a last minute replacement because like Tyrann Matthews obviously is still playing football. I don't know if they had talked to Jared or not. But like eventually they got down far enough in the list. They were like, T-Bob lives here. Like we could just get him. Like, hell yeah,
pay for his hotel or flight to bring him in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Congratulations, though. Please, everyone on the chat, congratulate T-Bob.
Yeah,
we'll have to get some good photos posted on Twitter afterwards. But for this game, and let's dive into the game a little bit.
Yeah. Let's talk about the actual game.
I'm still T-Bob, bro. Like, I feel like I'm still a believer in LSU. I don't know why. Like, everything against me is like, you've seen them. You know what they are. You know who they are. Stop trying to be, believe in the hype of Coach Kelly. But I'm still sipping the Kool-Aid until they consistently show that they're not a good football team. I will still think that they can compete in these type of ball games. That being said, everyone here knows that Mississippi State's my 3rd favorite team in the SEC right now. But I'll start with LSU and reasons why I think they can win. And I'm going to start with T-Bob's favorite position, the quarterback position. Jaden was going through, as we all know, a 3-way battle this camp. Didn't really get the reps. Don't know who's going to be the guy. There's a lot of people saying it should be Nussmeier. Some people are saying it should be him. We hear it. We hear it. We're sensitive beings. We hear the chatter.
Yeah.
He goes out there, plays well in the 4th quarter versus Florida State. He comes out last week versus Southern, a scrub team, but looked very efficient. 10 of 11.
Yep.
Runs the ball well, throws the ball better, throws more anticipation. Looks like he's getting the offense. Nussmeier comes out there, throws 2 of the worst interceptions I've ever seen in my life. Now, all of a sudden, discussion's done. Nussmeier, we gave you an opportunity to get some film, maybe continue this quarterback competition. You crap the bed. You're out. This is Jaden's team. So I think right now, because of the fact that Jaden played well, that Nuss didn't play well, fans are fully believing that Jaden's the guy. I think the receivers are believing that Jaden's the guy. And that goes a long way. Once again, we are sensitive beings. We love love at the end of it.
Yeah.
So I think Jaden's going to continue to progress. You get John Emery back at running back. Kayshawn got some love early last week. I think he carries that over on offense. I still think they got dudes on the defense side of the football. So I think, once again, LSU is a good football team that's going to get better and better and better this season. I just think they're running into a Mississippi State team that right now on offense is hitting on all cylinders. Will Rogers is a beast. Yeah. If he continues to play like this, we'll be in New York at the end of the season. 78% completions, and they ain't all dink and dunks, T-Bob. He's letting it rip down the field too. So I love his receivers. And you know what about this offense for Mississippi State as well? They're actually running the football more. There is a commitment. When you drop 8, that they're like, okay, well, I guess we should probably run the ball because the box is a little bit light. So right now, this offense looks a little bit unstoppable. And don't forget, last time they were there in Baton Rouge, they put up 60 points. So they ain't scared to go to Baton Rouge.
Okay, hold on. That is the only thing I will push back on. That's the only.
I know.
They will never give up 60 points again. That was Bo Pelini literally doing the dumbest single game of coaching that I think you'll ever find in Power 5 football. Now, well, that's a bold claim in a world where Brian Ferentz exists. So I don't know. Maybe I take that back. But it sucks, Aaron. I don't think LSU is going to win this game. And that hurts me to say. And I think there's even a part of me deeply that's doing a little reverse psychology thing. And I really think they're going to win. But I feel like if I say they're not, then they actually will. But the problem is right now, Mike Denbrock has an offense that feels like a lot of its success is predicated on O-line play. And the O-line still did not look great to me in the Southern game. I got massive questions, both from a mental standpoint. There were more MAs in the Southern game, and from just a physical standpoint where the technique was lacking at times. And you could tell me, but there's so much more talent than Mississippi State. They're going to have more NFL players. Okay, that could be true. But the majority of that talent lies at the wide receiver position. Yep. And I don't know if you can take advantage of that right now with how this offense is set up. Maybe you can. Again, I got to see how Denbrock evolves to feature Daniels, put him in decision points that he's comfortable with. Don't try to make him something that he's not. And so, again, there's still so much unknown with LSU because the good that we have is, on one hand, a very small sample size, one quarter against Florida State, and then the other hand against a team where you can't really draw any conclusions in Southern. And so the unknown factor with LSU is still much higher than Mississippi State. So that can go either way. It's just that when I look at LSU's weaknesses at O-line and linebacker and where Mississippi State is strong right now, I mean, never doubt State's or Leach's ability to mess something up that they shouldn't. It was kind of their MO last year. You were force and play underneath. Eventually they'll fumble, fall. They'll do something to screw up. They've looked cleaner this year, but it's going to take something like that kind of Bulldog or Mike Leach shoot themselves in the foot. I think it's going to take something like that for LSU to get the win on Saturday. So, no, it sucks, but there's a reason why you're home dogs to Mississippi State, and that's because, again, I think they are. I think they're better.
Well, I think you know what's going to help too. I do think John Emery is going to be. We kept hearing, or at least and you can allude to this better than I can, just being there in Baton Rouge and know more people. But I was hearing some good stuff from him. And we talk about taking some pressure off Jaden at quarterback. I think adding a running back of that possible caliber is going to take some stuff off his plate as well. So I will continue to sip the LSU Coach Kelly Kool-Aid for one more week. But after this week, T-Bob, if they crap the bed again, I'm done. I'm going to let you know right now. I am done. This is the last chance. And then I'll jump back on the ship possibly next year.
That's what I would say. I would say hop off or I don't know what the short-term bandwagon's going to look like. I don't know. If I was being honest, I'd be like, dude, I don't know if I'd hop on this thing. It's got leaky wheels. It looks like it could fall apart.
Will the Boo Birds show up if they play bad in the first half? LSU fans won't boo.
No. I mean, if they're playing poorly, there's a chance. Absolutely. Yes. There's absolutely a chance. I don't think, though, it's going to be a hyper. You are not in a situation like Jimbo or, a game that we'll talk about in a second, or one of these, or like an Auburn, right, where it could get really hostile. Because, again, I don't know what the short-term bandwagon looks like or how I feel about it, but I am still very much on the Brian Kelly long-term bandwagon. Ain't going nowhere there. Cult of Kelly, number one, right here, drinking the Kool-Aid.
I want to go to the chat real quick, and Bilbo says, Emery can't do a lot without an O-line. You know what they can do, though, that I'm interested in them to start to really implement more and more of is a lot of the zone reads. Jaden's a hell of a runner. I think you're going to have to continue to lean on that part of his game. Yeah. And the beauty of the zone reads is it really makes a defense slow down. It makes the linebackers have to slow down. They don't feel as fast. The defensive end has to be put in a certain situation. Hey, am I crashing on the running back? Am I going to stay and obviously focus on the quarterback if he pulls and run? So it just makes the defense one step slower. And you look at Mississippi State defensively, they're big. They're not super athletic. So if you put those guys in a bind where they're trying to have to figure out, okay, who's keeping it, who's giving it, where's the eye candy, I think that's something that you're going to see hopefully more of with the addition of Emory back there at the running back spot as well. And then Alex Alfonso asked, LSU, Notre Dame, who comes out on top? I think LSU would wax him. I mean, Notre Dame's bad.
Yeah. I feel pretty comfortable in that.
Yeah.
I don't know that Notre Dame's offense is good enough to really threaten much of anything on anybody right now. They got a good D line. David Harlow, does T-Bob have any eligibility left? Yes, this is where I'm going to, during my guest captainship, throw on a jersey and reveal that I actually have one game left. And then they're going to start me and play me the entire game, and it's going to go great. No, look, okay, I'll say this about Mississippi State. Everybody keeps telling me they have a really good defensive line. I don't know. I watched the film. I don't think I've really seen anything where I'm like, that's a really good line. I think they look like a solid SEC D line, but I don't think they look nearly as good as what LSU dealt with in Florida State. So that'll be a lesser challenge for this offensive line. And if they do the things you're talking about, Aaron, working in zone read, maybe a little more tempo, I do think they can put up points in this game. Like, I'm not that sold on Mississippi State's defense like some others are. Like, it can be the best that Mike Leach has, but that doesn't actually make it that good. Yeah, Bill Baggett says, Palmer said they have a first-round defensive end that plays on the right side. It's not Weeks. What's his name? It's not Sweat. It's another, like, single-syllable name. Anyway. Yeah, I think he's, like, ranked, like, 11th or 12th at his position. Like, I'm pretty sure he's viewed as, like, a third or fourth-round pick, which is solid.
Charlton?
But again,
I think you're talking about Tyrus Wheat.
Yes, Wheat. See? Okay, Weeks. Wheat.
Yeah.
There you go. Yes,
Yeah.
single syllable,
Wheat.
like I said.
Wheat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wheat.
Yeah, he's a second
Yeah,
team
he's their
All
best
SEC guy.
lineman.
Yep.
He's their best lineman. He had like 7 sacks or something last year. But still, I'm just talking about when I watched the game in the film this year, I didn't come away thinking like, damn, that's a great Mississippi State D-line. But maybe I'm going to be feeling differently after they work what looks like a bad LSU offensive line. We will see. Number 2 on our top 5 games of the week. We talked about it a bit earlier in the week. It is the Embarrassment Bowl. That's right. Penn State at Auburn. Great game last year. This year, maybe not shaping up to be as great. Given that, remember, Auburn started hot last year. I want to say they started like 6-1, 6-2, somewhere around there before losing basically all the way out. And the Penn State game was excellent in Happy Valley, and they like really acquitted themselves quite well. Everything here a year later feels vastly different at Auburn, as they have not looked good. TJ Finley and this offense has been sputtering and unenjoyable. And Penn State starts their season with a massive win in West Lafayette over Purdue. So they got a little, I think Penn State's got a little juice here. And I think that Auburn and the Harsin noise is about to increase dramatically.
Yes. Just like LSU, I'm like, I think Auburn has talent. I mean, you look at the defense right now and Derek Hall and Owen Papo and the guys in the secondary. I'm not sold on Penn State on the offense side of the football. And you and I both know that it is an absolute bitch to play in Jordan-Hare. It's going to be loud, 3:30, CBS, the fans. I mean, they're still 2-0 for how average the offense, not even average, below average the offense has looked through the first 2 weeks. They're still 2-0. They're still hosting a top team, one of the best teams in their conference, another undefeated team. Like, this is a big deal. Like, it's going to be rowdy. It's going to be loud. And we talk about offensive lines. I think Penn State on the offensive line front, not great. Can't really run the football.
Okay.
Sean Clifford's been known to kind of, turn the ball over at times. I was impressed that week 1 game, him able to come back from that pretty bad pick 6, comes back, leads him down there for a touchdown to eventually win that game versus Purdue. So he's played in these moments. He's played in these games. He's been a kid that's been there for a long, long time. Like, I don't think the moment will be too big for him. This will be a low-scoring game, though. This will be a extremely low-scoring game, old school
Underplay.
Defensive battle. Who takes care of the football? I think that's going to be the key right now. What team can take care of the football? Because Sean has been known to give the ball away, and TJ through the first 2 games of the season has thrown 3 picks. Robbie Ashford has thrown a pick. That's 4 interceptions against lesser opponents in 2 games for Auburn. I do think they have more talent on offense than they did last year. I think the receivers are better. Offensive line is a tad bit better. You got to get Tank going. You got to get, Robert Ashford in there a little bit more and get his legs to be a huge factor in this game. But at the end of the day, it's all about taking care of the football, playing good defense. And I think Auburn has that chance, and especially at home field advantage, all that saying, it's going to be, this is a game that's going to be like 20-14, 17-14. Maybe like
Robbie
Ashford
Ashford
wins it. Yeah.
Galloping
Robbie
down the
Ashford.
sideline. Okay, well, Aaron, so the over-under's at 47.5. So you're saying smash the under. I think I'm about to hop on my FanDuel app and do it right now. In fact, if I didn't have FanDuel downloaded, you know what I would do? I would download it, and I would use the promo code SNAPS and take advantage of the no sweat same game parlay tonight, where you can do like a same game parlay for the Thursday night football game. And if it doesn't hit, guess what? No sweat. You get that money that you lost back and free bets. How about that? How about this? Wait, I haven't chosen a winner here. I think Penn State wins. I'm not a believer in Brian Harsin. I feel you on Jordan Hare, but
I am though.
I think Sean Clifford's. I think the quarterback situation's better. Yeah. I am a believer in Brian Harsin as a football coach. I am not a believer in Brian Harsin as the Auburn football coach. I think the hiring process was incredibly fraught. I think the parameters they put on him once they hired him were a huge red flag. I think his AD's gone now. Like Brian Harsin, it's not a fit thing. It was a bad search thing. Like, I like Brian Harsin, the football coach, just not for Auburn, maybe. And plus, I feel like, I don't know, dude.
It kind of sounds a little like Scott Frost at Nebraska. Like, I like Scott Frost, the coach, just obviously not for Nebraska.
Well, yeah, I guess the only difference.
Not to go down a rabbit hole here, because we've butchered the Frosty boys enough for the past 3 weeks, but still think Frost's a good coach. Just didn't work out in Nebraska, unfortunately.
I think these past few weeks have made me a Nebraska fan for life, though. I'm like, it's like somebody getting like morbidly attracted to the Lions, who have only won one playoff game since the 50s. Like, I'm going to ride with Nebraska through this coaching transition, and we're going to see. We're going to find out. Number one most interesting game of the weekend. Ooh, now this is a big boy. It's in College Station. Fine Texas. It's little Miami at Texas A&M.
Was that,
if you have not seen, I didn't fully commit to the bit. I was trying to do like a Yell Leader parody thing, but I kind of got like a little confused and scared in the middle of it. And then plus I was also thinking about a Yell Leader parody that I saw on Levitard that was great. And then I was like, I don't want to completely rip off the bit.
Yeah, you didn't commit to the bit.
Exactly. That's exactly what you could see. You could see the insecurity in
real time
in actions halfway through it. Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, that's for you. But it's Miami, Texas A&M. After a week of awful headlines, Jimbo being under the gun, the Yell Leaders being clowned constantly, Miami comes to town in what we call the Fraud Bowl, because one of these two teams feels fraudulent. And I'm not quite sure which one it is yet. I don't know if I'm willing to put the stake quite through Miami or A&M just yet, but maybe after this weekend I will be. Aaron, I know you have a very simple message for the people when it comes to what Texas A&M should do here.
Yeah, can someone please, if anyone knows anyone at Appalachian State where game day will be this weekend, please ask them to build a sign that says free max at snaps. That's it. That's all we need. So if you have a friend there, please have them make a sign, put it up front, free max at snaps. You can also tag T-Bob and myself also, and the volume. That's it, man. Texas A&M, I promise you right now, in the locker room, there's whispers going on, like little mouse in the corner. They're talking about, hey, the media doesn't like Haynes. Our fans don't like Haynes. Shoot, we don't even know if we like Haynes. He can't throw the football. Receivers are like, we want to catch, man. Like, put a quarterback in there that can throw the damn football. So I will continue to harp on this until Jimbo makes the wise decision, puts in a quarterback that fits his system or changes his system. One or the other, Jimbo, make a decision, because what we've seen for the first 2 weeks is garbage. Make a decision and stick with it, and let's go. So that's all A&M has to do to make me happy. That's all A&M has to do to score points. I do think Van Dyke is okay. I went back and watched the film this week a little bit more. I don't think he's what everyone's hyping him up to be. I think this is going to be a game that, if Haynes is a starter, make sure you go check out FanDuel. Look at that under. We'll talk about it a little bit more tomorrow. But I just don't think either team is great. I think both teams are overhyped heading into the season, and we're seeing it already early on.
I think I'm inclined to agree. And it was fascinating in a lot of ways because there were kind of three big NIL programs entering the season, right? And it was four, I would say. It was, can USC turn it around? Can Texas turn around? Can Miami turn around? And how will A&M be here now that everybody's getting paid? And it's funny. The immediate returns on USC and Texas feel pretty good. The immediate returns on A&M and Miami, not so much. Now, Miami is still a wild card. Like, I don't want to shit on Miami too hard because they have not crapped the bed the same way that A&M has. Like, they have looked better than A&M. It's just that I'm with you, Aaron. I think I had very high expectations for Tyler Van Dyke, and the consistency has not been there. And it's like in Miami, because I've kind of watched him out the corner of my eyes the last couple of weeks here in the office, and like they just seem to shoot themselves in the foot a lot. Like some really kind of inexplicable F-ups. And I don't care who you're going against. If you're going to College Station, which, look, the Yell Leader thing speaks to the cultish devotion that they have to this team, okay? Like, the environment is intense, guaranteed. And if you go in and you do something dumb, like fumble on the 5-yard line or like throw a bad pick when you're driving, like the crowd is going to amplify that against you. So if I was betting this game, I feel like Miami, I feel like I'd be dumb not to do Miami plus 6.5, but there is something that feels a little sketchy about that number being that big. It feels a little bit like a trap. So I'm going to wait and think about this one more before I make a gambling call. To win the game, though, if Max Johnson plays, I go A&M. If Max Johnson does not play, I go Miami.
Yep. 100%. So save that bet to about 5 minutes before kickoff. I don't know when's the latest you could put a bet on something, but that is, to me, that's the key. I mean, that's the key you know, what's crazy though? Like if A&M does lose this game this weekend to Miami, you know, the fans are already going to be pissed as it is. I mean, you lost to a Sun Belt team. Now you lost to an ACC team. And then you look at the rest of their schedule. I mean, we talked about earlier, like, can A&M win 6-7 games? So if you lose this week, man, they may be even pushing. Do they even make a bowl game? So I think it's a must win for Jimbo. This is dire, honestly. This is as dire as it gets for A&M.
Yeah, it's if only we had a crystal ball we could look into and just see the future, right? The part of me that just loves to watch the world burn out of spite wants A&M to lose this game so we can see those news cycles from afar. But LSU and A&M also got, I mean, we got a little bit of a thing going on. Like, they manufactured a rivalry that actually became a pretty heated rivalry. It's like it's a great case study in corporate marketing. The fact that they made this LSU, they like hyper baked it in a microwave and you're tasting it. You're like, you know what? I don't hate this. This actually tastes pretty freaking good, dude. Ask Snaps, does Jimbo offer offensive play calling to someone else before the season is over? I don't think so. Aaron, real quick, 30 seconds. We'll get out of here.
No, I don't think. I think this is something that's going to be more of a off-season project for him to bring someone in. I don't think he gives it up at this point, just kind of being around Jimbo. I think he should. It's not easy to do both, be a head coach and a play caller. So I would not fault him for doing it. I would just think that, you know, right now they're not in a good place. And to think that he's going to give that up is, I don't think so. All head coaches are control freaks. So it's not easy for them just to hand something that he's done for his entire career pretty much.
I think it's an off-season decision, and I think he needs to go all the way and get like a new coordinator and fully empower him and just be more of a CEO type. But we'll see. Maybe I'm just being reactive. Look, thank you for joining us for another episode of Snaps. If you're in the chat, I'm shocked. Tentacles won. So I guess we got a bunch of diet boys with you, Aaron, in the poll. You got smashed. Your wife is much more impressive than you are. And, it was a great day of polls all around. So thank you to everybody hanging out. Again, if you really want to help the show, we'd love it if you would like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the pod. And I know it's annoying, but like rating and reviewing, that stuff helps a lot as well. And we'll be back with 3 best bets tomorrow. We got late night snaps after dark. Maybe this time with not one, but 2 costumes in the mix.
Costume came in
Coming
yesterday.
up Saturday night.
I'll be ready
It's looking
Saturday.
good. And yeah, so that's gonna be Saturday night, and then we're back on Monday every day. You know the deal. 2 Eastern, 1 Central. So Aaron, have a great show. Ryan Brumley, our excellent producer, thank you so much. Thank you to FanDuel, promo code SNAPS in the volume, and we'll see you Snaps time. Is that a thing I should start? Snaps time, Ryan? What do you think?